The National Electrical Code, specifically Article 110.16a, addresses the requirements related to working spaces about electrical equipment. While it doesn't explicitly mandate rubber mats at a specific voltage level, it's crucial to understand how this article relates to safety practices and potential interpretations regarding the need for additional protective measures like rubber mats. Article 110.16 focuses on the guarding of live parts. It states that live parts operating at 50 volts or more shall be guarded against accidental contact by approved enclosures or by any of the following means: firstly, by location in a room, vault, or similar enclosure that is accessible only to qualified persons; secondly, by suitable partitions or screens arranged so that only qualified persons have access to the space within reach of the live parts; thirdly, by location on a suitable balcony, gallery, or platform elevated and arranged so as to exclude unqualified persons; or fourthly, by elevation of 8 feet or more above the floor or other working surface. While this article emphasizes guarding live parts to prevent accidental contact, it doesn't directly specify the voltage at which rubber mats become mandatory. The need for rubber mats is often determined by a combination of factors, including voltage level, the type of work being performed, the presence of conductive surfaces, and employer safety policies. Generally, it's understood that higher voltages necessitate more stringent safety measures. While 750 volts to ground is a significant voltage level that would certainly warrant the use of rubber mats in many situations, the NEC doesn't provide a hard and fast rule stating that rubber mats are required at exactly this voltage. Instead, the decision to use rubber mats often falls under the employer's responsibility to assess the hazards and implement appropriate safety measures. Now, let's consider some related aspects of electrical safety and the use of rubber mats. Rubber mats, also known as dielectric mats, are used to insulate workers from ground potential. They provide a non-conductive barrier that prevents electric current from flowing through a person's body to ground. This is particularly important when working with energized electrical equipment. The effectiveness of a rubber mat depends on its dielectric strength, which is the maximum voltage it can withstand without breaking down and allowing current to flow through it. Rubber mats are typically tested and rated for specific voltage levels. It's crucial to use mats that are rated for the voltage levels you're working with. The higher the voltage, the higher the required dielectric strength of the mat. Now, here is how voltage levels generally influence the need for rubber mats. At lower voltage levels, such as 120 volts or 240 volts, the risk of electric shock is still present, but the potential for severe injury or death is lower compared to higher voltages. In these situations, other safety measures such as insulated tools, personal protective equipment like gloves and eye protection, and safe work practices may be sufficient. However, when working with higher voltages such as 480 volts, 600 volts, or higher, the risk of electric shock and arc flash increases significantly. In these situations, rubber mats become an essential part of the safety protocol. They provide an additional layer of protection against ground faults and help to minimize the potential for electric shock. In addition to voltage level, other factors also influence the need for rubber mats. Firstly, the type of work being performed. If the work involves tasks that increase the risk of contact with energized parts, such as testing, troubleshooting, or maintenance, rubber mats are more likely to be required. Secondly, the presence of conductive surfaces. If the work area has conductive surfaces, such as concrete floors, metal structures, or wet environments, the risk of electric shock is higher, and rubber mats become even more important. Thirdly, employer safety policies. Many employers have specific safety policies that require the use of rubber mats at certain voltage levels or for specific types of work, regardless of what the NEC or other codes may state. It is very important to consult the employer's safety policies and follow their guidelines. It is important to remember that OSHA regulations also play a significant role in electrical safety. OSHA requires employers to provide a safe working environment for their employees and to protect them from electrical hazards. While OSHA doesn't explicitly mandate rubber mats at a specific voltage level, it does require employers to assess the hazards in the workplace and to implement appropriate safety measures. This may include the use of rubber mats depending on the voltage levels, the type of work being performed, and the presence of other hazards. To further clarify the relationship between voltage levels and the need for rubber mats, let's consider some specific examples. Firstly, when working on a 120-volt circuit, such as replacing a receptacle or installing a light fixture, rubber mats may not be required, as long as other safety measures are in place, such as insulated tools, gloves, and eye protection. Secondly, when working on a 240-volt circuit, such as connecting an appliance or installing a circuit breaker, rubber mats may be recommended, especially if the work area is conductive surfaces or if the risk of contact with energized parts is high. Thirdly, when working on a 480 volts or higher circuit, such as performing maintenance on electrical equipment or troubleshooting a fault, rubber mats are almost always required, along with other personal protective equipment and safe work practices. In summary, the NEC doesn't provide a definitive answer to the question of at what voltage level rubber mats become mandatory. However, it's generally understood that higher voltages necessitate more stringent safety measures, including the use of rubber mats. The decision to use rubber mats is often based on a combination of factors, including voltage level, the type of work being performed, the presence of conductive surfaces, and employer safety policies. It's crucial to assess the hazards in the workplace and to implement appropriate safety measures to protect workers from electrical shock. Always follow the employer's safety policies and consult with a qualified electrical professional if you have any questions or concerns. In addition to rubber mats, other safety measures are also essential when working with electricity. These include, firstly, using insulated tools. Always use tools that are designed and rated for electrical work. These tools have insulated handles that protect you from electric shock. Secondly, wearing personal protective equipment where appropriate. Personal protective equipment such as gloves, eye protection, and flame-resistant clothing. Thirdly, de-energizing equipment whenever possible. Always de-energize electrical equipment before working on it. This eliminates the risk of electric shock. If it's not possible to de-energize the equipment, use extreme caution and follow safe work practices. Fourthly, using lockout/tagout procedures when de-energizing equipment. Use lockout/tagout procedures to prevent the equipment from being accidentally re-energized. Fifthly, maintaining a safe work area. Keep the work area clean and free of clutter. This reduces the risk of accidents. Sixthly, being aware of your surroundings. Be aware of potential hazards in the work area, such as wet surfaces, overhead power lines, and other electrical equipment. Seventhly, never working alone. Always work with a buddy when working with electricity. This ensures that someone is there to help you in case of an emergency. Eighthly, receiving proper training. Ensure that you have received proper training in electrical safety. This will help you to understand the hazards and to follow safe work practices. Remember that electrical safety is everyone's responsibility. By following safe work practices and using appropriate safety measures, you can protect yourself and others from electrical hazards. The information provided here is for general guidance only and should not be considered a substitute for professional advice. Always consult with a qualified electrical professional before working on electrical equipment. It is the responsibility of the employer to ensure that employees are properly trained and equipped to work safely with electricity. Always follow the employer's safety policies and procedures.